We came here. This group of people who are in this room are extraordinary people. We selected them carefully. Some of them thought they were here because of the positions they occupy in their respective institutions. That's not the case. We selected them personally because we wanted people to come here who are capable of thinking differently. Because all the problems you're trying to address, including the main one, which is infrastructure and its financing, have been with us since time immemorial. They have been discussed every day, and that we are trying to solve them every day. But for some reason, we are not cracking them. So he said, okay, let us bring people with special brains, with a special commitment to the development of this continent, put them in a room, not in a place where you make some grandstanding speeches and so on and so forth, but you are actually required to contribute productively and intelligently, and you keep questioning the status quo. So that's what has happened over these last 2 days, and we have incredible results. The results are, we think we have figured out, actually, that what has been believed until now to be the biggest hindrance to infrastructure projects development, resolution, is not money. We have been reassured so many times that money has never been the problem. After all, Africa managed to raise, without a lot of effort, and going most of the time to one single source, has managed to raise $2 trillion over the last 60 years for infrastructure alone. Unfortunately, though, after all those investments, we still struggle with every new project. We still struggle with every new investment. We still struggle with every new feasibility study, with every new project design. Turns out, very little of this money, if any, was used to create lasting, embedded capabilities within our countries. Capability to think, capability to raise money, to innovate for African projects, taking into account African circumstances. We seem to tend to always copy and paste models we have learned in business schools abroad. We copy and paste, we try and do, most times it doesn't work. And that's why we and our children are being told repeatedly, it cannot be done, you cannot do it. Wait until we are ready. You'll queue up, we'll come to you in the line, and we'll tell you how to do it, we'll give you the money to do it. But we have figured out that we don't have to wait. We have to invest, because we have to invest in capability. That is the shortcut we cannot
too many regulatory bodies. How is this going to happen? I stand here representing the Afrochampions, who are a group of companies who didn't even exist 20, 25 years ago. Most people didn't even see them coming. But through policies from leaders like yourself, we've seen the emergence of African multinationals whose cross-border operations are moving people, integrating the continent, breaking the barriers to intra-Africa trade, and possibly hold the chance for moving Africa into global emergence. It is based on that possibility that it can happen that we have mobilized the African champions to support your vision and the vision of men like yourself, and with the inspiration of His Excellency Prime Minister RAILA ODINGA, under whose auspices and under whose office we found a worthy partner to bring the African private sector, who we think hold a very strong component or a missing puzzle to bring to this equation of bringing Africa, creating the capacity we need on the continent to solve Africa's problems, looking for African solutions. To think, like one of our brothers said today, not outside of the box, but far away from the box. Because within the box are toolkits that remind us that we cannot do it, it's not possible. But we believe that in this room are gathered the will of men and women who have the tenacity. We have people here from private sovereign wealth funds. We have institutions like the African Trade Insurance Agency. We have our sponsors like Africa 50. We have African Development Bank. We have GE, who is the first multinational that came to us, global multinational that came to us and offered to sign the charter to hold themselves accountable to the Afrochampion standard. We are inspired by these
a very distinct success out of this meeting You've done a wonderful job. The highlights tell their story. And we thank you very much because you have laid a foundation that will contribute to the rapid and inclusive development of Africa. Priorities matter. Priorities give us focus. So we would like to request from the High Representative and the Afrochampions to come up with a priority list of projects under infrastructure and fully aligned to the African Continental Free Trade Area that can be rapidly financed and executed. And from the point of view of the African Union, the key infrastructure projects that we would like to see are those that support manufacturing and agro-processing. Because these two subsectors are key to increasing levels of intra-African trade. Right now, it's at 18% of global trade. When we remove tariff barriers, it can increase by 52.3% by 2023. And it can be double that, which is about 101% or 104% if we remove non-tariff barriers. But we need products to support that trade. And the key ones are manufacturing and agro-processing, because already 42% of intra-African trade is made up of manufacturers. We make another demand to the High Representative and the Afro-Champions. You've assured that this was not a talk shop. It was a focused discussion on delivering results. And the highlights show that you have delivered results. So we urge you between now and July to close deals. And we also invite you to sign those deals at the African Continental Free Trade Area Business Forum, which is going to take place when we have the extraordinary summit to launch the operational phase of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And when you have that visibility, you demonstrate to yourselves and the rest of the world that you produced very distinct results in Nairobi. This is the demand we make to you. And I end here. I thank you very much, Your Excellency, for being with us. I thank all of you, the participants, for producing these very good results. And I thank you for the opportunity to be with you this afternoon. Thank you very much.